Yo, how's it going, everybody? This is Dylan from the TDs and Beer podcast. Here to recap Saturday night's action. We got gonna go over the Jake Paul fight, Robert Whittaker fight, UFC, and a little bit of Supercross too. I want to get that down. Let's start with that Jake Paul fight, though. This I don't even know where to start with this. This looked like a third-rate production all the way around. It's almost embarrassing to watch. As far as the fighting goes, though, I can really only talk about the Jake Paul fight because that's the only one I watched, and I'm sure you know by now. If you're watching this, you already know what happened. Jake Paul won by first round TKO. Came in with a left and then a right hook that caught Askren up by the eye and just sent him to the floor. He got up, he was ready to fight, but the referee called it. Said he looked like he was pressing a little bit. He to me, it looked like he just didn't want to wait on the ref, but the ref was there closer. I'm not going to dispute the decision to call the fight then and there. It did look pretty bad. Now, a lot of people, I think, will be out there asking if this makes Jake Paul a real contender in the boxing world. I think the better conclusion here is that Ben Askren should just stay away from all things combat sports from now on. It it was rough. Honestly, though, this thing is worth watching. I found it on YouTube, so it is somewhere out there. Uh, but I honestly do think it's worth watching just for Snoop and Pete Davidson alone. Like, I'm not even a big Pete Davidson fan, but that guy was fucking hilarious here. And Snoop won a bunch of money, so he was excited there. I lost money. If you guys listen to our Friday episode of the podcast, I expected Ben Askren to get the knockout within 4 rounds. I wasn't able to word the bet exactly like I wanted. I had to take Ben Askren in the third or fourth round. Obviously, it didn't matter because Jake Paul won the fight anyway. But it's no, I ultimately, for those asking or saying that this makes Jake Paul a real contender in the boxing world, it's still too early to tell. Obviously, he's doing well so far. He has had the benefit of handpicking his opponents, and I mean, let's get him in there with a real boxer and then see how he does. I'm done hating on the guy, but let's actually see what he has now. All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's go on to the UFC. We had Robert Whittaker versus Kevin Gastelum. I guess this was a fight that was scheduled a couple of years ago. Uh, I would assume that was after Whittaker lost the title to Izzy, but I'm not 100% on that. But anyway, we finally saw it last night. And this was a fight that was really dominated by Robert Whittaker's reach. I think it was a 3-inch height advantage and then a 2 or 3 inch reach advantage. Um, it was really, really impressive. Even I don't know. I think Marvin Vittori's win over Kevin Holland last weekend was one of the most impressive wins I've ever seen. And this one comes really close. It was a unanimous 50-45 decision for Robert Whittaker. Not that Kevin Gastelum, couldn't do anything. He got his shots in. It's just Robert Whittaker had an answer for everything. He did a wonderful job of setting everything up. I mean, it was just brilliant, really. I mean, if you're a fan of good technical MMA fighting, then go check that out. It's over on ESPN Plus. If you have that, I'm sure you can find it somewhere on YouTube. That's where I started watching it for some reason, and I had one of those videos that was really zoomed in, like half the time you're seeing the space between the fighters. I don't know why I even tried watching that. I got ESPN Plus, so just a brain fart on my part. But this really, like, I was hoping, I'm a bit of a fan of Marvin Vettori, and after his really impressive win, I was hoping to see him versus Izzy next. But with Robert already being the number one contender and getting the win and being extremely impressive and it being a rematch, uh, that's probably going to be the one to see. However, there is one other little contingency in there that we have to take a look at, and that's with Izzy's star power. He does have, we've seen it in the UFC. The more star power you have, the more influence you have with Dana White. So Izzy's star power is going to have some influence with who he takes on next. So then the question becomes, does the rematch with Whittaker excite him more, or does taking on, or I guess it would be a rematch with Marvin Vettori? They fought a long time ago when they were up and comers. Izzy won that one. Izzy won the first match with both of these guys. So which one excites him more now? That is a really tough question to answer, especially since they both looked really impressive in their wins. This probably comes down to money, and I would have to guess that Robert Whittaker is the bigger money fight here. And with him being the number one contender already, it just makes sense. So we'll have to see where this goes, but I really expect Whittaker Adesanya 2 to be that next fight for that middleweight belt. Gonna wrap this up with some Supercross. It's the third round in Atlanta, round 15 overall. And man, you guys know, if you're a fan of the podcast, if you listen to the podcast at all, I'm a huge Supercross fan, and I had a lot of opinions to share about what happened on Tuesday. Let's just start from the very beginning. In practice, Cameron McAdoo had another huge crash. Like, I don't know what this guy. I have no words. I am at a complete loss. He lined up for his heat race. It looked bad, but he made it in with like a seventh. Like he really looks like a hazard out there on the track. He can't control his body, which means he can't control the bike, and it just looks rough. But we'll just go ahead and fast forward to the main event, and he caused another red flag on the very first lap. I believe it was so they come. What was it? First corner, second corner. Yeah, I believe it was that second corner. He drifted a little wide and actually ran off the track, turned back onto the track and went down. Somebody landed on him then. That person got ejected from their bike and big injury, was transported to the hospital almost immediately. So the race was red flagged again, and they did a whole restart. He lined up. Like I said, he can't control his body, therefore he can't control the bike, and he is a hazard out there on the track. And that's not to take anything away from the guy. Like I love seeing that toughness from athletes, like the willpower to go on no matter what. It's amazing. I love it. But at some point you have to be able to know when to say enough is enough. And he should have said enough is enough after practice. He should have said enough is enough on Tuesday after that huge fucking crash. But I'm not even sure where he finished. He went down a couple of times. I think he took a couple of people with him one of those times, but it was well outside the top 10. And Justin Cooper got the whole shot, made a mistake on the first lap, and his teammate Nate Thrasher, who won last Saturday, got his first win last Saturday, passed him and rode to an easy win again. Justin Cooper probably could have caught him, but there was no need. He had McAdoo well behind him. Hunter Lawrence, I believe, went down early. He may have been collected in one of those McAdoo crashes. I'm not 100% on that. Now that I think about it a little more, I think he went down all on his own. No, you know what? McAdoo did collect him. Hunter Lawrence was trying to get by McAdoo, and because he knew exactly what I'm telling you, that McAdoo could not control his bike, he tried giving him plenty of room and ended up off the track by himself. So McAdoo didn't really collect him, but the crash is partly to blame. Hunter Lawrence's crash is partly to blame on McAdoo, but he came back for like a fourth place finish. I'm not 100% on that, but he had both of those guys easily covered, so Cooper did not have to chase after Nate Thrasher, who won easily, who also won the heat race or what won his last chance qualifier again. So he has 2 career Supercross victories, both of them coming from the last chance qualifier. That's not something you want to make a habit out of, but it's pretty impressive to say. So anytime he goes to the last chance qualifier now, there's absolutely no reason for him to sweat. As long as he can get a good start and get through the last chance qualifier cleanly, he really has nothing to worry about. 450s. Aaron Plessinger got the whole shot, led for like a lap. So right off the start, it was Plessinger, Roxon, and Webb. And Roxon he absolutely has to stay ahead of Webb, and he would love for a couple of other guys to get in there between him and Webb. So Roxon immediately went to work on Aaron Plessinger, passed him like after the first lap, started to take off. Barsha, Tomac both started to catch Webb. Like Plessinger was riding around by himself in second for a little bit. Webb was falling back a little bit. Barsha and Tomac were coming up to them. It looked like the perfect storm for Roxon. I don't know if Plessinger then made a mistake that allowed Webb to catch him, or if Webb just turned it up a little bit. I don't know exactly what happened, but Webb was able to leave Barsha and Tomac behind. He caught and passed Plessinger, but at that point, Ken Roxon's got like a 7-second lead or something, and there's most people, myself included, are thinking that there's no way Webb is going to catch him. Roxon just looks way too damn good. But then Roxon makes a huge mistake and goes down in the whoops. But I mean, as far as a whoop crash, this was like the best you could hope for. But it's still a crash. He still lost a ton of time. And then after the race, he claimed that shouldn't say he claimed it because it's not like I don't believe him, but he said that in the crash, the bars bent. He had a little bit of trouble getting used to that, which I get, but I don't know. Tuesday night, we saw Cameron McAdoo go out there with a completely mangled up bike and pull out a third. So that's really not a very good excuse for what then happened, which was Webb just chased him down after Roxon got up. He still had like a 5-second lead. Still should be no reason to think that Webb is going to chase him down, but he did and passed him with like 2 laps to go and just left him behind. I mean, Roxon had no chance then. And it went from what would have been a 10-point deficit going into Salt Lake next weekend to now a 16-point deficit. It's a 6-point swing. And coming into Atlanta, I believe he was down 15. So in 3 rounds, he loses 1 point. That's not it is as long. Webb did well enough in Salt Lake last year to believe that he's pretty much got this wrapped up now. It was 7 rounds in Salt Lake last year. I believe Tomac won 3, I believe. Okay, so no, because Zach Osborne got a win last year. So Zach Osborne won 1, Ken Roxon won 1. I'm going to say that Webb won 2 and Tomac won 3. I'm not 100% on that, but I believe that's how it went. So he did well enough to believe that 16-point lead is more than enough in 2 rounds at Salt Lake City this year. So he's probably, unless something crazy happens, he's probably got that locked up. I was hoping for something better. That 10-point would have been nice. Something like a 5 if Barsha and Tomac would have been able to get around Webb. 4 or 5-point lead going into Salt Lake. That's what I was really hoping for. But no, instead we get a 16. So this is the 250 Wests. I believe that's who that is, right? Yeah, the 250 West, Justin Cooper and company, Justin Cooper, Cameron McAdoo, Hunter Lawrence, all those guys. That is their last round by themselves. And it goes from the tightest points race in Supercross to basically being over now with, I want to say Justin Cooper has like a 22-point lead now. It grew tremendously just last night. But he did a good job at stretching that in all 3 rounds at Atlanta. So that's their last round until the last round of Supercross at Salt Lake, where there will be an East-West shootout. Anything can happen, but I really don't expect Cameron McAdoo to go out there and win that, and Justin Cooper to get last or second to last. That's just not going to happen. So we have, and then the 250 East guys, Colt Nichols, Christian Craig, Jet Lawrence. They will be running the first round of Salt Lake. And again, Colt Nichols has probably enough hold on that to withstand 2 rounds at Salt Lake. So it really looks like all 3 championships are locked up. Nothing is finalized yet, but I don't expect anything crazy to happen. That doesn't mean I'm not going to watch. I absolutely love this stuff. You guys know that. So, well, that's going to do it for this video. Would greatly appreciate it if you guys left a like, subscribed, come check out our podcast, the TDs and Peer podcast. We post every Monday and Friday. We have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, that's going to be it for me tonight, today, this morning. You know what it is. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks.